You know the expression, once a Democrat, always a Democrat, or once a Republican, always a Republican? It's idiotic because things change, things pivot, leaders change. And to just say that I'm on this team come hell or high water, we're not talking sports, people, we're talking your life. And when your party goes astray, as we've seen with the Democratic Party, and of course, everybody pointing the fingers at the Republican Party, folks, sometimes you got to reevaluate the team. Welcome back to the Rant Network. I am David Solomon. He is Stuart Brisgell. We are the Rant Network. This is the podcast that we just love having fun. We do this unedited, uncensored, and definitely unfiltered conversation every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, on a wide range of topics. And over the next 70-something days, it'll probably be more along the lines of the American public, election that could shake the world. This platform is a place for you to express your opinions, and we do get them comments often. We'll talk about that later. So we share your thoughts, your views, your experiences, but also ours. This is not a media, folks. We are not a news outlet, but I will tell you, challenge our facts. Please do, because it seems to be that only conservatives have to get fact-checked to death. Join us anyways, as we always dive into news, pop culture, politics, and so much more. This is Absurdity Modern Life at its best. Discussions about deeper issues that affect all of us. So sit back for today's version of Stuart, I got to tell you something. Robert Kennedy Jr. announces on Friday that he is leaving, he is suspending his campaign, and is throwing his hat behind the Trump campaign. It got a reaction from the Dems that was unbelievable. Words like betrayal, traitor, and members of his own family said, quote, our brother Bobby's decision to endorse Trump is a betrayal of the values that our father and our family hold most dear. It's a sad ending to a sad story. So, Stuart, let me understand correctly. The Democratic Party of the 1960s, that Bobby Kennedy Sr., John Kennedy, all that family held to heart. That party is not the same party today. But regardless, we're on Team Dem no matter what. So did Robert Kennedy Jr. make the wrong decision, Stuart? Or is he just shaking the trees?
Well, let's first understand who Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. is.
Sit back, children, it's time for a Stuart story.
Well, let's first understand his education. He's a Harvard University grad. He's a London School of Economics grad. He got his Juris Doctorate from University of Virginia, and he has his LLM from Pace. He is an environmental lawyer. He's an anti-vaccine. He's a conspiracy theorist. He has been devoted to children's health, right? And was a proud member of the Democratic family as the nephew of John F. Kennedy. And the Attorney General, he's the son of Robert F. Kennedy. Now we know a little bit about Mr. Kennedy, and you got to take things in stride. What was the impact of the Democratic namesake, Kennedy, walk to the other side? And to understand this, you got to understand the voter dynamics. He may attract some independents. He'll attract the elderly that believe in the Kennedy family name, that are disillusioned with the Democratic Party. The Republican unity will only bolster the Republican name, right? The concerns of Democratic rights are the endorsements aren't always going to be where they should be. They're based off of where they ought to be. And the narrative is shifting the anti-establishment sentiment way over to the right. The impact of this will challenge the next generations of elections as being just a two-party system, now to possibly a three-party system. The impact of this also goes to the fact that when the Democratic Party doesn't agree with you, you're an enemy of them. You know, it's no different than when you have two millionaires and billionaires on stage telling the world that we really need to give a little of ourselves. It's disingenuous. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saw the writing on the wall when he was given 16 minutes of interview time in almost 15 months. The only network that gave the man time on air was Fox News. They call it the right-wing media nut house, gave the namesake of the Democratic Party free time. Come talk to us. Tell us how you feel. And you know what? To some, he seems a little quacky. His voice is definitely less than desirable, just no different than Donald Trump's orange hair or the laugh of the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. But the ideological differences between Robert and Kamala aren't as great as you might think. And moreover, Robert may be more of a moderate and Kamala is more of the progressive. So how in the world did he get turned on his head? Because he wasn't going to listen and be an obedient dog. And, you know, when it comes to word salad, Robert doesn't seem to mix words. Yeah, he's quirky. He's real. Yeah, he ran over a bear and threw it in the trunk of his car for bear meat. Seems a little odd. But is it more odd on telling the people that are rioting, I'm going to sponsor your bail? Is it no different than trying to mandate federal law, federal rules versus republic rules and republic laws? I don't know. I think, David, it's a matter of optics, right? Or am I wrong?
Well, so let's take a step back here, Stuart. And you brought up the censorship part, and I think with Robert Kennedy Jr. and by the way, I'm not a fan of Robert Kennedy. I heard some of his remarks. I don't like the word quirky you used with him, but that's not the point of this. Let's go back for a second, folks. In a democratic process, the leader, when there is a lack of confidence, is up for challenge. And in any democratic process, and if you look at the constitutions of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, when there's no confidence in the leader, there's a way to replace the leader. And I'm not talking about, what is it, the 27th Amendment? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking within your own party. And so when you don't have comfort in your leader, you change. You can change. There is a democratic process. But here's what happens, Stuart. The Democrats don't like that process. They like to coronate their leaders. And we've seen this in the last three, elections. We saw it in 2016 with Hillary. We saw it in 2020 with Joe. And now in 2024, if it couldn't be more obvious, with Kamala Harris. So when he challenged, and forgive me, I cannot remember the name of the lady who also challenged the Democratic Party. There were no debates. There were no conversations. We weren't allowed to do anything, Stuart. So while you're typing away there, my good friend, and you're looking hopefully for some good content for this rant, here's the thing I'm going to ask you. Why aren't the Democrats allowing a democratic process? And that's what Robert Kennedy was asking. And while he was still part of the Democratic, the campaigning against Biden, he was shut out. He was shut down. Now he goes off as an independent because he realizes he can't do anything as a Democrat to try to shake the trees. Now we remember a guy named Ross Perot, Stuart. Remember Ross Perot in 1992? Well, he ran as an independent more so to ruffle the Republicans. And as a result, the liberal media loved it. Because after 12 years of Republican rule, it was time to put in a Democrat, and they did everything that they could to make sure that Bush would lose. And apparently, per Kennedy, in 10 months, Ross Perot got 34 appearances on a handful of networks. Remember, it was a time when the CNNs of this world were tiny. It was not the same. He had two. With all these networks, he got two. And as a result, the media, of course, complicit, as we've seen numerous times with the Democratic Party, because MSDNC, as Sean Hannity likes to call them, and I really love that expression, that these outlets are the DNC's communications outlets. And as a result, whatever they can do to shut down Kennedy, They did. Now, Kennedy claims that every time he registered in a state, the Democrats took him to court. It was unbelievable because they knew that he was going to steal votes from their guy. In 92, it was okay to steal it from Bush. Hence, Clinton wins. But in 2024, Stuart, how dare you start up with the Democratic Party? And that's what this has become, the cult of the Democratic Party. You do not have a democratic process. You have a cult. You have a following. And if you stray from the following and listen to the way it is, you are betraying your family, values. This is cult-like statements. This is what the left accuses the religions of being, controlling. If you're not part of us, you're our enemy. Fascinating. Now, Robert Kennedy, whether you agree with him or not relevant. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And the Democrats continue to play two sets of rules. The rules that they get to go by so that they can win. And then the rules that they want everybody else to play by. Okay? Which means the Republicans, Stuart, at the Democratic National Convention, right? Donald Trump was told numerous times, stop insulting. Stop insulting Kamala. Stop making fun of people. You're very, that's all you do. That's all you do. That's all you do. Why don't you be smart and a gentleman like some of the other Dems, like Obama and Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, Oprah, all the rest of them use words like con artists and all these things on Donald Trump. So apparently there are two sets of rules. Rules for the Democrats so that they can win, and rules for everybody else so you can't win. And so to me, when Robert Kennedy makes this move on Friday, okay, and his family says, you betrayed us. Folks, it's not a cult. It's not a movement like you think it is. The come to Jesus moment we heard last week is not that, folks. Stop buying into the cult-like statement. Stuart, you and I talked about this off air, and I'm going to bring it up. It was your idea. Harris has no policies. Harris is not giving interviews. Donald Trump says, this is what I'm going to do. He's vilified. Trump gives an interview. He's vilified. Amazing, Stuart, how the Dems don't like it when you play at their game.
As I said before we went live on this broadcast, I mentioned that Donald Trump uses vernacular that I am going to, we are going to.
Right.
Okay. It's definitive. It's a statement. It is a policy. When Kamala says something, she doesn't say she's going to. She's going to what? Oh, I'm going to fight for you. What does fight for me mean? What does that mean? Is that a quantitative thing? No, it's not. Donald J. Trump says, I'm going to not tax you on your tips. She said she's going to fight for the worker and not fight. What do you mean fight? Is that a policy?
Wait, Stuart, wait. Let me ask the question that people are still forgetting.
Yeah.
Who's the president right now? Which party's in power?
Right. And she's trying to run against herself and Joe Biden as if Donald J. Trump is the incumbent.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. The Democrats are not playing again. Where play by you're the ones in power, people. You're making it sound again. You're twisting the reality. You're making it sound as if you had no power in the last 4 years. Of course.
Well, you can snap your finger and not charge on this tax season.
Oh, wait, Stuart, but go back.
You can snap your finger and close the border. You can snap your finger and do all these things.
But Stuart, who ran the country almost unopposed in 2021 and 2022?
Well, I really don't know. I can't answer that question.
The Democrats, because they
don't elect a party, you elect the president who represents.
I understand, but that you had a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate. Right? You remember that for 2 years? And all they did was blame the Republicans. So they lose the House by a slim margin. And they said, oh, we can't run the country anymore. It's the Republicans' fault. The Democrats did nothing for 4 goddamn years. But they can blame. And they're blaming Trump for all the problems, but Trump hasn't been in office since January 2021. So when Kamala Harris stands up there and the Democratic Party stands up there and calls Kennedy a betrayer, right? Because we're trying to fix the country. My question is, what were you waiting for? What do you were always looking to blame, not fix. So yes,
that's why I'm calling this as the blame game 2024. You need to wrap it up, my friend.
All right, Stuart. Look, Stuart, I want to ask you this question. Okay, the feeling right now is that swing states, thanks to Kennedy's move to Trump, the swing states are now going to vote for Trump.
Well, so I actually checked the odds. You know, I'm a big guy. I'm looking at odds, and you want to know something? I actually checked the odds as of today. Look at the odds. Now, ironically, do you know what the odds of Kamala Harris winning?
No. What is
the exact same. Oh, it is a dead heat within the margin of it.
One thing is for sure. There is going to be no, we'll see if there's a debate. And if there's a debate, I'm curious to see what Kennedy's going to provide Trump. I'm curious to see what Tulsi Gabbard is going to provide Donald Trump. But I got to tell you something, folks. Watch and listen as the Democrats and their proxies. I'm going to use this almost like with Hezbollah. The media proxies for the Democratic Party, what they're going to do to try to convince you that the only solution is Kamala. And that the Democrats are the only party. Because, folks, otherwise, you can't be part of our cult, and you are the enemy, and you will be eliminated. And on that note, folks, thanks a lot for today's episode. We appreciate you listening in. We hope you got something out of this conversation, and we stayed somewhat on track today. And hopefully we'll get your comments, because let me tell you, Stuart, I get a lot of nasty statements that we are really anti-Democrat. It's hilarious. But exposing your fallacies, what am I going to do? We appreciate your support, and we hope to see you again on Wednesday and on Friday, because we broadcast every Eastern, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which will include Labor Day next week, folks. We'll have a broadcast. We continue no matter what. So check us out on social. Check us out on therantnetwork.com. People, listen, this is where if you want you have access to all of the rants since we've started over 3.5 years ago. A tremendous amount of consistency, folks. Tremendous amount of consistency. So in the meantime, share this with your friends, send us your comments,